All right, and we believe we are live. Well, guys, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about a passion, or what is a passion of mine, but it's a topic that I'm really passionate about, and it is how to reduce stress in your life. And I'm passionate about it because one, I've had lots of stress in my life, and I've been able to work through it. We've been able to help a lot of people work through it. But more importantly, guys, I'm passionate about this because I care about you. And if you're watching this, there's a good chance that well, of course you're dealing with stress, you're a human being, but specifically if you're watching this, I can guarantee if you have money stress, if you got some debt, if you're having fights about money, if you're dealing with anything that has to do with money and it's not going exactly the way that you want it to go, chances are you are dealing with some massive stress in your life. And I want to help you guys totally eliminate it, totally overcome it, get the fear out of your life, and really just totally help you guys get over it so you guys can finally have that peace, have the freedom that you guys want, and have to no longer, have the thing that's taking up 95% of your time and of your stress levels rob you anymore. And that's really what we're going to talk about. And like I said, what we're going to talk about is how to eliminate specifically 95% of your stress. And the reason why I said 95% of your stress is because I can't say that money stress is 100% of your stress, right? There's things that are going to happen. Like your kid's going to, there could be major catastrophes in your life that have nothing to do with it. But if you really just stop, it has nothing to do with money, but if you really just stop and think about it, just really stop and think about it, okay? Like I people say to me all the time, well, Jeremy, I don't know that money is really why we're having, money stress is really why we're having problems in our marriage. Or, I don't know if that's really why I've had, I'm dealing with some of these diseases, or these autoimmune, or the IBS, or the migraines, or why I've had cancer before, or why I'm having to go to see the doctor so frequently, or why I'm on these anti-anxiety medications or the antidepressants, or guys, you name it. I hear people all the time question, like, is it really about money? And just stop and think about it, guys, like just for 1 second, okay? I want you to picture yourself now, no matter how old you are in here, maybe you're already in your 50s, but maybe in your 30s or something, it just really doesn't matter. But just think about it. Like let's just say you're in your 40s or 50s and just picture yourself. You've got well over $1 million in your retirement. You've got no debt whatsoever. You don't owe anyone anything. Your house is completely paid off. You have no collectors. You have no one calling you saying you owe me this. The only bills you really have are the water bill and the electric and whatever taxes you need to pay, things like that. You're able to travel when you need to. You're able to take vacations when you want to, as needed. You're able to do the things that you want to do for your kids, or maybe even for your grandkids. If you already have grandkids, you can get them the things that they need. You can even do some of the things that you want to do. You can write some of those big checks if there's something, if someone comes in from your church, from out of town, a missionary or whoever, or there's an organization that's on your heart, whether that's sex trafficking or whether that's children in need of adoption or widows or just Bible translation, whatever it would be, you can just write that check. You don't have to worry about it. You can just take care of that person. Or if there's someone in your family who needs help, you don't have to think about it. You can say, here you go, right? You're able to drive a car that you want without having to worry about making payments. All of that, you really think about it. You got $50,000 minimum, for emergencies if things were going to happen. It's like you're just totally padded financially. And if you allow yourself to really think about that, how amazing that would feel. Even when you think about going into work and you don't have to be there, you're there because you want to be there, but not because you're desperate, and because basically they have all this leverage over you, because if you don't have that job, then you're screwed. You couldn't go a week or two or a few months. If you had total freedom there, again, like I'm just here because I want to, but I know that I could leave at any point in time. Really ask yourself, how much stress would you have in your life? Like really think about it. And what I can tell you guys from experience is, even when you think about like emergencies and stuff like that, some like the emergencies just become inconveniences. It's like, oh, well, I'd rather not spend money on that, but whatever, that's what it's there for. So it's really, guys, if you think about the stress in your life, what I've seen time and time again, I've seen people be able to go off of antidepressants, anti-anxieties. I've seen people, just their marriages completely transform. I've seen people being able to just love their work and get through the day feeling passion and fulfillment. I've seen people's health return. I've seen people overcome some chronic illnesses, heal from things, prevent some serious things, all by getting their finances under control. Because guys, all you have to do is Google for a little bit to realize that I would say the primary, but depending upon what you're reading, one of the primary or the primary cause of stress in your life is finances. And again, from my experience, having worked with people, guys, I can tell you from my experience, the people that we see, I'd say it's at least 95% of the stress goes away when you can get your finances under control, when you can get the debt out of your life, you can get and really, guys, I kind of call them saber-toothed tigers. I mean, if you think about the people that are trying to get their money back, whether that's the mortgage company or whether that's, just the different MasterCard, Visa, whatever it would be, if you've got debt in your life, guys, it's literally the equivalent of a saber-toothed tiger. What we're going to talk today, again, is about let's just talk about stress. Let's talk about some of how does it affect your body, but really just, guys, how does it affect your mind? And then how does that ultimately affect what's going on in your health? So guys, here's the thing, your body, your brain cannot tell the difference between an actual saber-toothed tiger. If you think about being around back in the day when there were saber-toothed tigers, it can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and your spouse, screaming at you because they're freaking out about the finances, or about a bill collector calling and saying, I need you to pay up, or about your boss saying, hey, there's going to be layoffs, or whatever it would be. It puts you in the same state of fight or flight. And so here's why this is a big problem, guys, is because when you are living in fight or flight and you're living in fear, what happens is instead of your body focusing on healing and on growth, in your organs and your viscera, those internal organs, your heart, your spleen, your intestines, all those areas where a lot of, when you think about what are the health problems that are the most chronic, those are the things that cause problems. Usually people aren't dying because either their knuckles got too bloody or their feet, got cut off. It's usually because of what's going on in your internal organs. If you really think about it, that's, if these things shut down, that's where your health is primarily. What happens is when you guys are living in fight or flight, your blood, constricts. What happened is ultimately your blood gets sent to your extremities, to your hands, to your feet. And what happens, guys, your stress hormones go up. So, and then what happens, guys, is ultimately it compromises your immune system and it forces your body to focus on those sorts of things, just on running or on fighting or things like that, whatever it would be, and not on being able to heal, not being able to recover. And so the problem with that is, guys, is if you really study stress and the effects on the body, it is detrimental to your health. And if you really think about it, I mean, it's the people with stress consistently that we see, they've got, I'll just name off a few. It's you've got higher blood pressure, you've got heart problems, you've got, they're more likely to smoke or to drink or to eat unhealthy, or all these different things, which ultimately increase heart issues, because ultimately, again, guys, that's what happens when you're living in stress. It's we try to find all these different ways to cope. It worsens diabetes, it triggers migraines, it triggers headaches, all those sorts of things, guys. It causes high rates of anxiety and depression. Again, if you're dealing with anxiety and depression, ask yourself, again, if I didn't have money stress in my life whatsoever, and you had the kind of life that we just talked about a few minutes ago, would I really be dealing with stress? Would I really be feeling so anxious all the time? There's a saber-toothed tiger getting ready to bounce out. But guys, literally, it's every time you look at your bank account, it's literally you've got, all these different Visa, MasterCard. It's a saber-toothed tiger that's just surrounding your house, circling, waiting for you to come out and pounce, waiting for you to make one false move, and then boom, they're going to come nail you. And that's why so many people deal with so much anxiety, so much depression. Guys, it can worsen ulcers. It can cause chronic heartburn. If any of you guys are dealing with IBS, that can make it worse. It can worsen Alzheimer's symptoms. Again, heart attacks, guys, all these different things. The thing I want you to understand is stress, it is a built-in, when you are dealing with stress, your body has a response to try to deal with the threat or deal with the attack. And like I said, it's going to put you guys in fight or flight. Your blood pressure is going to rise. Your blood vessels are going to constrict, all these sorts of things. And then what happens, guys, is you get cortisol, you get adrenaline release. And here's the problem with that, guys, is again, if you really think about again, how it affects the immune system, just pause. And if you look at what doctors do when they're going to do surgeries, if you need a liver transplant or a heart transplant, things like that, what do they do for the patient? What they're going to do is they're actually going to inject you before you end up getting the surgery with stress hormones. Now you'd be why is that? It's actually a therapeutic technique. So why do they do that? Well, because your body's job is to reject something like that. It's ultimately meant to fight it, this foreign object, it's meant to try to get it out. So guys, and so doctors know that if they're going to do that, what's going to happen is it's going to reduce the effectiveness of your immune system, and it's going to be compromised so that your body is less likely to be able to reject that, and that it's going to end up taking it. And so what's really interesting, guys, just think about that then. So if that's what happens when they're trying to do that, then what happens when you're living in constant stress? What happens if you're always worried about what if I lose my job, or what if I can't pay this bill, or what if we lose the house, or what if we lose the car, or what if we have this major medical thing come up, or what if, we can't stop fighting about this, or what if, whatever it would be. If you really think about it, you've got to ask yourself, what is that doing to your immune system? What is it doing to your body? Guys, it is killing you. Literally, guys, between digestive things, heartaches, heart disease, sleep problems, weight gain, concentration, all these sorts of things, guys, what happens is you're constantly feeling the pressure. You're constantly under fight or flight, and it just stays on, guys, and it shuts off the maintenance and the growth aspects of what your body is supposed to perform. And so, guys, it keeps you guys where it's effectively like shutting down your immune system, and it's keeping you guys stuck. And the reason why this is so important, guys, is because what happens when you don't fix it is, like I said, all those problems happen. You could even say up to 90% of doctors' visits are caused by stress. And the reason, again, why I'm doing this Facebook Live and talking about this right now is because, guys, like, if you realize that if money is the primary thing, when you really stop to think about it, if you could fix it, most of your stress will go away. Well, then, guys, the reason why we're talking about this is because I don't want you to be vulnerable to stress anymore. And I don't want it to destroy your health. I don't want it to destroy your relationships. I don't want it to destroy your career because you can't concentrate, or it's affecting your performance, or it's causing you to feel desperate, whatever it would be, or maybe even compromise your integrity, whatever it would happen. I don't want that to happen for you guys. So again, guys, what I want to talk about is how not just to eliminate that, but guys, like how to overcome the fear and how to actually get into a state of peace and excitement and joy where you can start to get your health back, where your body can heal and grow. Every day, guys, your body is creating new cells. And so I want to give your body the best fighting chance. But guys, if you're not fixing the money stress, what happens is you're not giving your body everything it needs from you in order to be able to heal, for your immune system to be able to do its thing, for your organs to be able to do their thing, for the way that God designed the body to really function at peak capacity. Because ultimately, guys, I think that now in this day and age, more than any other time, people, at least in America and the Western societies, it's like the people that are dealing with so much bondage, with financial stress, so much pressure. So many people are working multiple jobs. So many people just are dealing with even hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. They don't know what to do. And I honestly believe like it's even more threatening than just having a saber-toothed tiger out in the woods somewhere. It's like, at least with that, it's like, okay, we got my fire, I've got my family, I know how to defend myself, stuff like this. But so many people, they don't even know how to defend themselves. They don't know how to fix it. And when you feel like you're being surrounded by like 10, 20, 30 tigers, and you have no tools, no weapons, what do you do? And so let's talk now specifically about what are the tools that you can use? What are the weapons that you can use? How can you arm yourself to totally get these saber-toothed tigers out of your life, to be able to get the stress out of your life at the root and allow your body to heal, allow your relationships to heal, and allow you to really be the person that God wants you to be, because God does not want you to be living in bondage. God does not want you to be living in financial stress, because guys, what happens when you're in that? You're focused so much on you that we can't take the time to focus on the people who really do need our help. And so if you're watching this, I know that's because you want to be a greater blessing. You want to be able to serve people. You want to be able to love people more in a greater capacity. But again, you cannot do that when you're so focused about just surviving yourself and every day trying to live in constant anxiety and stress. And I'm saying that because it breaks my heart for so many people. So again, like, what are the tools? Well, what do you need to be able to get out of financial stress? Well, guys, the first thing you need to do, again, you probably know this already, but again, I'm just going to reiterate this for all of you guys, is you have to make a defiant commitment to getting the debt out of your life and finally getting debt free. Because guys, listen, like if you're constantly dealing with that, it's just going to continue to rob you. It's going to steal you. It's just one more threat outside of you that is waiting to pounce and wait for you to screw up so it can come in. And so guys, I want you to realize, like, these people that are keeping you in debt, it's like they are preying upon you. They don't want you to get free, and they want you to stay stuck, because that's how they make their living, is by keeping you stuck in debt. So the first thing you have to do, guys, is you have to do whatever it takes to be able to finally get the debt wiped out. Okay, like once and for all. And you have to know how not just to do that, but how to sustainably keep it that way. And that's why so many people are calling, because they've gotten out of debt before, but they don't know how to keep it that way. It's like, I've seen so many guys, it's like, I've seen people that have like, they went on like the Dave Ramsey show, and like they had their debt-free screen, but then they ended up right back in debt. And it's like, and ultimately, like, what breaks my heart is because they're just like, we did everything that we thought we were supposed to do. Like, we worked all these extra jobs, and we burnt ourselves out, and like we didn't go on vacations for 5 years, and we didn't have any fun, and like we ate beans and rice and all this stuff. But why are we still back here? Well, guys, you have to be able to figure out, why is it that you keep having those cycles? Like, what is it that's going on in here? What is it that's going on in the way that you're wired and the way that you think about money and the way that you handle money and the systems that you have in place for managing your money? What is it about that that's been missing that causes you to keep having this cycle where you feel like you just cannot escape get off the hamster wheel of debt? And so guys, that's the first thing you have to do is like go to get out of debt. And second, like I said, is like, how do you keep it that way? How do we keep the debt off? How do we keep that weight off of debt so that it's not continuing to hold us back from what we're supposed to be able to do and get the stress out of our life? Okay, so that's the second part, guys. But number three is like, once you guys are able to do that and actually do that, you need to start working on an emergency fund. You need to start building up a cushion because guys, listen, I can tell you when you have no buffer between you and the next big thing and all you have is the credit card companies, guys, here's the truth. Right now, a lot of people aren't even getting credit. Right? The banks are tightening up. A lot of banks are tightening up. And so people that have been able to bank on like, well, like that's what my credit cards are for, aren't able to bank on that anymore. I'm seeing this all over the country where people are like, they're trying their very best to get credit. They can't even do it. The other problem with that is that so many different things like debt management, debt consolidation, all this kind of stuff, credit counseling, whatever it would be. What a lot of people don't know is the way that a lot of this stuff works is basically they stop paying and they trash your credit score. And so a lot of people, what's really sad is a lot of people end up now the debt management company, they're doing their thing, but these people had, 600, sort of decent, but then like some of them had like 700, even 800, whatever credit scores, but then that ended up tanking it. So then now what happens is again, when they need to get a loan, if they were to have a major emergency, they can't get it, because ultimately their credit scores drop so significantly. And so the problem is, guys, is like you can't just commit to getting out of debt. You also have to be able to get an emergency fund because, guys, when you don't have it, it causes an incredible amount of stress. Like, when your kid is starts choking on something, the first thing you're thinking of, oh God, are we gonna have money for the ambulance? It's like that should not have to be your first thought. Or if your spouse is like, oh my gosh, my chest hurts, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. You shouldn't have to think about, oh man, am I gonna drive him there, or am I gonna call the ambulance because I don't know how much the bill's gonna be? Guys, like that should not have to be something that you have to think about. But I can say that from personal experience, saying that was a fear of mine in the past, and it sucked, and it really causes a lot of stress. It's like we should be able to focus on our family, not have to focus on stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, how much would it be? Oh my gosh, like, okay, I would do the life flight, but I don't know. I'm only 20 minutes away. I know that they're, their heart's, gushing out, or there's a huge, 5-inch, tear on their side, but maybe I could, it's like we shouldn't have to think about stuff like that, guys. So that's really the first thing is like, ultimately, guys, like, first of all, like, you've got to get an emergency fund in place because, again, like, whether it's that or like, a family member across the country passes away, you need to go to their funeral, or something happens to your car, and without that, you can't get to work. Like, again, guys, whatever it would be, when you have that buffer in place, oh my gosh, it's like some of you guys want to go on a vacation so that you can go, and I want you to go, and I want you to go on the vacation, but it's not really that great of a vacation when you have to put on a credit card. And even then, when underneath all of it, you know that you come back to the same stressful financial situation. When you guys can go on vacation and you have no debt and that you've got a massive emergency fund, oh my gosh, guys, that transformation, like that, you feel so much peace. And what's amazing, guys, is when you have an emergency fund in place, when you have a buffer there between you and the next emergency, again, you can come home and you can just breathe. And it's like that same feeling that you used to have to run away from, like, to a vacation to try to get. It's the feeling that you get to carry out every single day because you're feeling so much peace internally. You're feeling so much joy, and you're feeling so much relief, in light of the fact that there's nothing that can really, you're almost like bulletproof in one sense. Like, some of you guys got a little bit of armor that's about this much thick. You got a few $1,000s, but some of you guys have got, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, and you got like this big, like 2-inch titanium sort of thing. And that's what happens, guys, when you have the bigger emergency fund, the bigger of an ability to be able to handle challenges that are unexpected and to not have to be freaked out when emergencies happen. Okay. They just become inconveniences. They just become like, oh, well, that kind of stinks. Or like, oh man, I'd rather not have to use it. Man, I got to build up my emergency fund again. But that's like really the biggest part versus like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for it? Like, am I going to have to call family? Am I going to have to do this? It's not fun for everybody, for anybody. So guys, that's the real big thing. But guys, ultimately, not just that. When you guys have your emergency fund, figured out, when you're out of the debt, now, guys, it's like when you don't have a mortgage to have to deal with. On top of that, when you don't have retirement stress you have to deal with. Guys, I can tell you from personal experience, I think out of all my years of getting on the phone with people and talking to people, I can count on like one hand how many people I've talked to probably, I mean, I'm trying not to be dramatic, but I honestly can think of that many people, max, and I'm like, this is probably being generous, of people that I met that were actually prepared for retirement. Period. Like, I'm talking about people even in their 50s, 60s. Guys, almost nobody in this country is prepared for retirement at all. And if you're in your late 40s, early 50s, even getting closer into 60s, if you know that your body's shutting down, if you know that something can happen, you've seen it happen with your friends, your relatives, people that where they got in their 40s or 50s, they had a stroke, they had a heart attack, something happened, their knees gave out, if they required physical labor, they got dementia, they got Alzheimer's, whatever, guys, stuff just happens. Like, sometimes you don't always choose that, but so many people are like, I'll just work till I'm dead. And it sounds great until you meet people that had that same plan and it didn't work out for them. Because guys, we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised that all that stuff's going to be working. And so when you know that my only backup plan is hopefully the government somehow bailing me out, but even knowing that that's probably not likely, and knowing that my church can't do it, and then having to think about having to lay that burden on the kids. And some of you guys might not even have kids, or your kids aren't prepared financially because they didn't learn how to do it either. And whatever it would be, it's like, when you think about that causes an insane amount of stress too. And so when you're seeing, every month you're able to put thousands of dollars away for the future, like, even if you're still, guys, please know, if you're watching this and you're in your late 40s or early 50s or whatever, and you're like, Jeremy, I'm so far behind, is it too late? It's not too late, okay? But it is if you don't do something drastic and you don't get this debt out of your life and get that emergency fund. So instead of putting thousands of dollars every month to payments, you can actually pay yourself, and you can put that toward your interest in the retirement account versus having to, make the banks rich and be able to do that. So guys, that's really the most important thing on top of that, is as you get older, knowing that you've got, 10,000, then 50, then 100, then you see it go to 250, then 500,000, then $1 million, whatever it would be. And just know that in the future, no matter what happens to this crazy country, which, good God, what's going to happen to this country over the next 10 to 20, 30 years, I have no idea. But what I can say is I think we would all agree, there's so much that is a joke and is absolutely terrifying if you really allow yourself to think about where is our country headed. So a lot of these benefits, like state benefits, healthcare, social insecurity, all that kind of stuff, guys, we cannot bank on any of that stuff. If you're watching this, do not bank on any of that stuff. If you get it, great, but that just has to be the cherry on top. But what I can promise you guys is the people that I've met that are nearing retirement age, and they've got $1 million, $2 million, $3 million plus, and they know that they're going to be good. Any major medical thing that comes up, anything that would happen, to their children, that basically if something were to happen to their body and they couldn't physically work, that they're going to be able to provide for themselves for the last 20, 30 years of their life, maybe even 40 years of your life. Guys, it gives you so much peace just knowing every day I can spend my time focused on how can I be a blessing? How can I serve? How can I take care of those in need versus how can I just try to survive now and in the future? So guys, that's really what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is just what can you guys do to be able to finally get rid of the financial stress? And guys, the most important thing I can tell you guys is if you're watching this right now, and again, you're like, Jeremy, listen, I've tried to get out of debt. It didn't work. Or we did it once before, but we kept getting back in debt. I hear you. Hey, we tried to do an emergency fund before, it didn't work. And I hear you, hey, we've tried saving for the retirement before, but we're not making a dent. We're maybe putting a few $100s at the most, or maybe nothing right now. I hear you. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to turn. Well, guys, the number one thing I can say, because people message me all the time saying well, what should we do? Should we do this or this? Should we do this? Should we do this? Should we do that? It's it would literally be if you were having massive chest pains and, you've got, you've got loose stool for a whole week, and then messaging your doctor and just saying hey, can you just give me a piece of advice? Again, the doctor's gonna have to run tests. The doctor's gonna have to figure out what exactly is going on, what's keeping you stuck. So the number one thing I would say, guys, is don't try to self-diagnose. Don't try to Google, this for the next, 50 hours, or the 50 years and try to understand what's keeping me stuck. Why do I keep getting in these unhealthy patterns? Why do I keep overspending? Or why do I keep not sticking to a plan? Or why do I keep not making enough money? Why is it so hard? Why do I keep having to work multiple jobs? Or why do I keep, why do we keep arguing about this time and time again? Why can't we ever move past this? Why can't we ever learn to agree? Or why can't I ever seem to really just, again, whatever it would be, all those sorts of things, guys. The one thing I would tell you guys to give you the best advice ever would be to talk to an expert. And specifically with us, guys, just book a call. Go to jeremykrulikowski.com/apply and just book a call with us, guys. Because what I can tell you is over the course of the hour, we're going to figure out what exactly is holding you back. What's keeping you from the life that you want? What are the problems? What are the things keeping you stuck? But how do you actually move forward? How do we actually create a plan? And how do you create a system to be able to fix it? And what I can tell you guys is it's 1,000 times easier doing it with somebody who actually knows what they're doing and has helped other people fix it than trying to do it on your own. Again, if you were having chest pains and you feel like your heart's about to erupt, you're not just going to go on Google and try to watch some YouTube videos for heart, management. You're going to go to the hospital. You're going to see a doctor. I mean, guys, if you get sued by somebody and, someone sues your business or sues you personally for $1 million, you're not going to start Googling like how to be able to fight my own lawsuit. You're going to go see an attorney. If you've got a massive toothache and you feel like your tooth, it's like, you tried chewing on just the one side. Now that's not even working. Now you're using your front teeth, and then you try to stick it in the blender and just making smoothies, and you tried everything you can, and it's like you still can't eat. You're going to go to the dentist. You're going to go to professionals. So guys, the one thing I would say is, like, if you really ultimately want to eliminate the money stress and just completely get it out of your life, guys, just talk to a professional. Reach out to someone like us who actually knows what we're doing, who knows the patterns. Guys, listen, it's like there's nothing that you would share with me that I haven't seen 1,000 times. It's like, in terms of like the money stress, what's really holding you back, guys? I know what the problems are. I know how to fix it. I know what the people are dealing with, and we know how to overcome it. We know how to deal with it, because this is all I do all day, every single day, is help people with the same challenges that you're dealing with. And so, guys, I would just say that you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to finally fix the stress at its root. Okay, I can promise you, if you're dealing with money stress, yes, it's like there's other factors in your life that could be causing stress, that could be putting stress on your health, on your marriage, on your work, on your kids, all that kind of stuff. But guys, what I can tell you is when you get the money stress fixed at its core, there's no more bills, there's no more debt, that you can't pay. There's no more, there's no more fear of emergencies. The future is secure. Like all that stuff's there, guys. You can breathe. You sleep better at night. You have more joy. You're able to focus and serve more, serve other people more. It's just amazing, because again, you're not always thinking about you and how to survive. You're able to think about, how can I be a greater blessing? How can I serve the people around me that need my help? And guys, it changes everything in your life to just be able to deal with the money stress and to get out from underneath the grind, out from underneath the just the wear and tear that it puts on you when you're always trying to fight off those saber-toothed tigers, and you're trying to figure out how just to get by and how to make it every day. So again, guys, if you need help with that, again, I'm going to put a link here. Go to jeremykurlikowski.com/apply. And just let us know what's going on. Well, again, like I said, guys, we're going to get on the phone. We'll help you guys figure out what's holding you guys back, what you guys need, and how to be able to move past it. But guys, again, please do not dismiss the importance of dealing with the finances. I did for years. And what's hilarious is, some of you guys might not know this, I thought all this stuff was a bunch of crap for the longest time. I thought this was a bunch of, just like a huge waste of time, like something that was totally unnecessary. I thought it was all a spiritual issue, or I thought it was all just a conflict management issue, or I thought it was all, just all these sorts of things. Like I just need to pray more, things like that. And all those things are important. But guys, like the moment we got the finances fixed, it's like, oh my gosh, spiritually things got so much sweeter, because I was able to, again, focus more on other people. I was living more in gratitude, and I wasn't so stressed out all the time. My marriage got even better. My health improved. I mean, career got, everything got better. Like when I didn't feel so desperate, and when I didn't feel like I was constantly in fight or flight. So again, guys, like I want you to heal. And especially if you're watching this and you are at a point where you're feeling like this is the end of your rope. If you're feeling like, if I don't fix this immediately, I've talked to so many people in the past couple of weeks, guys, where it's like their marriages are on the line, their health is on the line, they've had heart attacks, they've had cancer, they've already had the strokes, they've had the autoimmune issues, they've had some major challenges in their life, or they know that that's very likely because, again, stress leads to all of these things. If you're watching this and it feels imminent, if you're getting anxiety, and every time you get anxiety, you start to feel like maybe you're having that heart attack, or you're starting to feel like maybe there's some sort of cancer that's developing, or you haven't gone to the doctor even in months or years because you're afraid of what they might say, right? Or if your cholesterol is going up, if your blood pressure is going up, if you got diabetes, if there's weight gain, whatever it would be, please know I'm not judging you guys at all. I just know that it sucks. It's painful. It's terrifying. If you're seeing the effects on your marriage, if you're seeing how it's just wearing you down, you're losing sleep, or all you can do is sleep just to be able to escape the frustration and the overwhelm, guys, please know that there is hope. You don't have to live like this. And I promise you guys, there is a way to get out from underneath 95% minimum of the stress in your life when you can get your finances in order and you can fix it once and for all. And so again, if you need help with that, I would be happy to chat with you and help you guys figure out what exactly you need to move forward, to get beyond it, and to finally fix it once and for all, so that you can have the peace, you can have the freedom, you can have the joy, and you can be the best version of you where you can light up like a Christmas tree again, because you don't feel that stress weighing you down and that darkness clouding out your mind, clouding out your heart, and keeping you feeling stuck and hopeless or just in despair. There is a way forward. And I promise you guys, we see it all the time. Just if you've been here around, watched any of our interviews or anything like that, just guys, listen, there is hope if for the people that want it and are committed and are ready to finally change their life and are sick and tired. So again, don't book that call if you're not sick and tired. If you're like, you know what, I feel like tolerating this, I could deal with this, don't book it, because we only want to help people that are serious and committed and are just sick of living like it, and know that there's a better way. Know that they don't have to spend the few short years that God gives us on this planet living in misery or in anger or in apathy or in, feeling upset about things all the time and just or triggering or easily upset, snapping at the family, snapping at the kids, not able to serve, not able to give. It's not how God meant us to live. It's not how we're meant to exist. But that's what happens in a broken world when we don't have solutions and when people don't know what to do. So I'm here to shine my light. I'm here to let you know that there is a way, and I'm here to help you guys also be that light so that we can light up the world. Because guys, listen, the people, if you're not a Christian watching this, it doesn't matter. It's okay. But if you are a Christian watching this, guys, what I can tell you is people out in the world, unbelievers, people who don't know Jesus, guys, listen, like it is not attractive to them when we are walking around in stress, when we're walking around extremely just filled with depression, when we're constantly overweight, or we're drinking, or our marriages are falling apart, or when our kids see that. It's like so many children walk away from the faith, so many people walk away from the faith because they're so turned off by what they see Christians dealing with in the world, and they don't see the joy of Jesus. They don't see the light of Jesus. They don't see the freedom that God offers, guys. And I can tell you that the freedom that God wants for you financially, it's all in God's word. It's like the plan is there, but like, how do you execute it? Well, guys, one of the primary ways that scripture says to be able to fix the challenges in your life is to get wise counselors, to get people in your life who have integrity, who have your best interests in mind, who love you, who will care for you, who can show you the way, and you just take their hand. Guys, listen, I've stepped on the hundreds of landmines. I've helped our clients step over the hundreds of landmines. Guys, listen, if I'm going through a minefield, I want to know the map. I don't just want the map. I want the hand of the person who's already got, one half a leg missing and is already, like he knows where every single thing is. Like, yep, don't step there. That's what I want, because I don't want to risk it. And guys, for some of you, it's too late. Like you maybe 20 years ago, you still could have just waited to think about maybe reaching out, maybe fixing this, maybe dealing with it. But if you're really honest with yourself deep inside, even though I know it's not fun to think about, when you really allow yourself to think about it, when you don't stick your head in the sand, when you don't live in denial, when you don't try to suppress it, and you realize that, oh my gosh, this is really imminent, if the dangers, if we don't fix it, guys, I can promise you that, like, if you will just give yourself the gift of being honest with yourself and then moving forward and taking action, booking a call and getting some professional help, I promise you guys, you can turn things around. You don't have to live it. There will be nothing left to suppress. There'll be nothing left to ignore, because you will have fixed it at its root. So again, guys, if you need help, I would love to be able to talk to you guys and see what we can do. I'm not promising that we're the best fit. Again, we're very picky. We're very selective, because we can only help people that we know we're only going to work with people we know we can absolutely help. But I promise you, either way, I'm going to give you a ton of value, a ton of clarity, and help you guys know the best way forward to be able to fix the money stress once and for all. So if you need help, jeremykrulakowski.com/apply. And if you're married, you can go to dreamteammarriage.com, and it's going to take you to the same place. And then either way, guys, we're going to serve you guys. We're going to love you and help you guys fix it once and for all. So if you're ready to crush that money stress, 95% of it, and finally live in that state of joy, be that person that God meant you to be without all the stress that is not his intention for you, then guys, go to, again, jeremykrulakowski.com/apply, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon. So have a great day, guys. It was fun hanging out with you guys, and we will see you on our next show. Have a great one.